All right, you all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Get a roll call?
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. D'Andriano?
Here.
Mr. Rogan?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here. Say that doing the Pledge of Allegiance in person is so much better than trying to do it on a Zoom meeting, which I have to do frequently. Can I get a motion on the reports?
I'd like to make a motion to approve, accept the code compliance report for July 2022, the code enforcement for July 2022, dog control officers for July 2022, ECI for June 2022, Patterson Fire Department second quarter report, April 2022 to July 2022, Putnam Lake Fire Department second quarter report, January 1st, 22, July 12th, 22, and the Patterson Recreation for July 2022. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion on the supervisor's reports?
I'll make a motion that we approve the supervisor's report for May 2022 in the amount of $12,406,528.60. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And for June 2022 in the amount of $11,867,708.50. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion on the minutes?
And on the minutes, I'll make a motion that we approve the town board meeting minutes of July 13th, 2022. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Somebody like to audit the bills?
Yeah, I will make a motion that the town board approve abstract number 14 dated July 29th, 2022 in the amount of $281,389.56. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Rogan.
Okay, so the item we are going to talk about is the Patterson Recreation Center Emergency Action Plan. This came out of the work of the Safety Committee and is very similar in nature to the Emergency Action Plan that was approved for Town Hall employees. So I don't know if anyone's had a chance to review this or if anyone has any comments on it. But again, a lot of the information is consistent with the Town Hall plan.
Where did we get?
We got it electronically, but I think if you want to run through it, like I said, and make any comments, we can revise accordingly. So, you know, it goes over obviously lockdown, lockout, response to threatening behaviors. Again, very consistent with the plan here, which we've already approved. And Matt Chabarro had a lot of input into any changes that need to be done here at this point. Emergency contact lists.
Yeah, I've gone through it. It's a really good job done by the Safety Committee. I don't have any comments on it.
Charlie?
Okay,
I'll make a motion that we approve the emergency action plan dated July 18th, 2022 for the Patterson Rec Center. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good.
Go ahead.
First on my agenda is Brewster Yards. This is a project that is actually down in the town of Southeast. It is a recreation facility, quite a large recreation facility. It backs up to the Patterson Town line on Fields Corners Road and Pugsley Road. They've released a draft environmental impact statement. I've reviewed it. They're basically saying within the draft environmental impact statement that they're, going to generate significant traffic. Trying to look for the numbers, somewhere on the order of 289 leaving and 215 coming peak hour on a Saturday. And they think that's all going down to Route 312, and very few, if any, cars are going to turn right out of the facility and go down Fields Corners Road. And there's no impact to traffic in the town of Patterson, so they don't have to worry about doing anything for the town of Patterson. I tell you, I've read a number of these. Probably the most interesting traffic study that I've read to date. A lot of it makes no sense whatsoever. I have comments here that with the board's approval, I'll send down to Southeast Planning Board, but, and I'm going to let Jamie weigh in at this point on what she thinks about what's going on. 'Cause we've had some conversations about, what we should be looking to do to preserve our rights.
Yes, I do think that we should, that this letter will be good and that it should go down to the town of Southeast. Also, we had discussed the last time there was a project proposed on the road, there was a traffic study done by the town. Of course, we don't necessarily want to have that additional expense, but I do think that it would be beneficial to have a traffic study done, a review of this environmental impact statement along with that traffic study to be able to present a comprehensive report of what our concerns are. Of course, Rich has outlined very significantly the concerns just from his review of the documents, but it is significant. It's the road, Fields Corner Road is, not a fully finished road by any means. So having this traffic flow will be substantial to the property. We had talked a little bit about closure of the road, but that would require a number of consents, including the county and potentially a public hearing by the county to neighbors affected by it. But that's an avenue that we might have to request and see if we can go anywhere with.
Well, I think to your comment, Rich, clearly this has to be addressed, and the answer, if propose this, that as a, well, they're not proposing it, they're saying no right-hand turn out of which doesn't work. Works for law-abiding people or people that follow signs, but most people don't.
It works for people who are not worried about going down into a line of 30 to 40 cars sitting in a traffic light, trying to make a turn on a Route 312.
Yep.
But I think the answer, as you said, is one of two things: either shutting the road down or improving it to town road standards to 24-foot wide and making it an appropriate road. But the impacts going out to Fair Street are going to be significant.
Absolutely significant. And then, further on to Fair Street, 311, that intersection.
Because like you said, people are going to know that it's backing up around Home Depot, and there's so much going on there, especially the mixed use traffic with the Amazon, or with the, the
Amazon warehouse.
Yeah.
We can say that now.
We
right? That's
can.
what's out there.
Yeah, and I saw in a number of the comments from the Southeast planner as well that they need to take into account those other projects in their environmental statement, which they really did not do.
And it seems like improving the remainder of that road is a fairly minor thing, considering the amount that's going on in that area. All things taken into
All things in consideration, it's a minor thing, but it is a significant improvement. And to widen that road, to have to acquire the property,
push back those.
to push everything back, push the walls back, pave it, deal with the stream that is there. That's all significant. And we certainly don't want to see a situation where, nothing, the town of Patterson doesn't do anything, and as a result, we get all this traffic, and then we're forced to improve that with the taxpayer funds.
Correct.
So,
On a positive note, so I didn't read the entire environmental impact statement, but I was definitely checking it out over the last today. Well, anyway, today, and it is a beautiful concept plan. If you like, I'm not a baseball fan, but for youth baseball, which I know some of my friends, they travel all over the place for the kids, and they're talking about 9 baseball fields plus an athletic or general athletic field plus concession stands, 38,000 square foot of indoor. This is a substantial project.
it is.
Really interesting. I think it'd be great for the area.
Well, it's definitely a regional project.
Yeah.
And was there any mention about, like, how are they going to police people coming out of the stadium areas there, or ball fields, and into not turning right?
No, that would be left up to law enforcement. And I very seriously doubt anybody's going to have a police officer sitting there making sure that people are obeying no right turns.
Mhm.
And there are certainly more serious, egregious, concerns with law enforcement elsewhere.
Yeah, that was one of the, not the turning issue, but in general, that was one of the comments I saw on the environmental impact statement was in general, further conversations with law enforcement because of the amount of people that could be there at any given time. And, they only had in their timeframes for response, but not what if additional security is needed and things of that nature. So those are still, seems very premature in the discussions of items.
Now, I would like to point out to the board, if you've got my memo in front of you, that I did add 2 paragraphs into that memo. Both of them are underlined. They were not in the memo that went out by email. I added them in based on the public hearing that was held last night. Apparently, a member of the Southeast Planning Board indicated that the town of Patterson is aware of the project, and the only thing they have requested is the signs at the end of the project entrance.
Okay, well, that's why you put things in writing.
And so I kind of re-emphasized about, the signs have no value. All right, so I'd like to make a motion to authorize the supervisor to send the review of the Brewster Yards draft environmental impact statement dated August 4th, 2002. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next is kind of a follow-up from the last meeting. The town has a request to change a road name, Noshcola Lane, to Alvarado Lane by the new owners of the property. We sent it over to the.
Dave, you done eating?
Hmm?
Everybody ate?
I
Where'd
could've
Jason
just-
go? Jason,
What's the?
Excuse me, your audio is coming through the meeting. Can you hear us? I can mute you.
Want to know what's for dinner?
Yeah, really. We sent it over to the planning board. The planning board had a lively discussion about, whether to accept this road name or propose something that is more in line with the requirements within our code for a new subdivision road name. At the end of the day, they couldn't come to any real agreement on that. And so their recommendation back to the town board is to put this on hold until we actually have a proposal from these people on what they're proposing to do on the property, which might give them, further insight onto what might or might not be an appropriate road name. So if that's what you'd all like to do,
Sure. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
didn't sure.
we're motion to table.
Okay.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next on tonight's agenda is project update. I've got a number of projects here that the town has been working on for quite some time. Charlie Cook provided a list at some point looking for kind of an update and his thoughts on who would be managing these projects or working on them, and he was looking for some sort of time frame on them. So I'm just going to run down this list and then my list, and we can open it up for discussion. So first is the EMS building. Everybody's aware that we finally got the DASNY grants finalized July 18, 2022. Since that time, our EMS administrator has come back with his vision of a floor plan, which has gone through an internal review. The floor plan actually didn't fit on the site, but we believe we can modify that floor plan to fit the footprint of the building. And the town engineer is currently working on revising that floor plan. Once he gets that done, I'll provide it to the board. We are also looking to schedule a meeting with Westchester Modular. Again, our EMS administrator is trying to coordinate that because we want to see if it's possible that if we could just construct a pad and let them drop the building on the pad, whether it might save us some time and be more economical. The rec center security plan is what I believe Sean did tonight. So that should be taken off the list. The employee emergency safety plan, I'm assuming that's the town hall safety plan.
Yep.
And I believe we're complete with that. The master plan. Planning board has made 2 unsuccessful attempts at amending that master plan.
I'm sorry, can we just go back real quick?
Yeah.
The recreation plan and the employee emergency plans, great plans. But do we have any plans to train the staff or roll it out to the staff? Employees?
So I believe at this point, the safety committee working through Sue Brown has the Homeland Security individual that you brought to us coming in to start with some active shooter training.
Okay, so my question was, we have these 2 plans we approved. Do we have any plans to roll them out to the employees or?
I'll leave
Training
that up
employees.
to the safety committee.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. We have plans that we put on a shelf, right, and then the employee doesn't know what the plan is.
Yeah,
So it's-
if they
comes
don't know
down
what the
to-
plans are, then they're
Yeah.
just useless.
So it comes down to practicing the plan, and that's, actually, it's funny you bring that up, but we're trying to get that same help for like lockdown, lockout, active shooter for where I work in the county. And so I think the active shooter component is in process, but evacuation related and what the plans look like, I think making them available to people is only part of the equation, but actually doing some training on it as appropriate, I think that should be in coordination with the safety committee.
And I think that the documents, both for town hall and for rec, they should be given to all employees, right?
They have,
So electronic copy.
they have.
Okay, master plan. As I was saying, the planning board has made 2 attempts at amending the master plan. They've been unsuccessful on getting anywhere with that. Hopefully in the future, we will be able to refocus on that. But right now with changes to, the staff in the office and pending exams coming up, the master plan is on hold. Revisit that beginning of next year. Putnam Lake Dam Repair Project is on hold pending DEC's determination of a dam classification. Let everybody know they just reissued their guidance on how to determine a dam's classification. I've yet to get through that to see if it affects what we've submitted to them. We're going to do that in the near future.
So what we've submitted was to DEC. That we said?
We submitted a design report that, in the opinion of the engineer,
Right,
the dam classification of C is incorrect, and it should be classified as a B dam.
so it's in DEC's.
Yep.
Ballpark.
Yes. Putnam Lake remediation plan. As you all know, we contracted with NEARS, AJ Ramirez, Ramis, I'm sorry, to study Putnam Lake over the summer. I know he's been out on the lake twice. He said a few data loggers. One of the data loggers has turned up missing. It's not a good thing. But that study is going on. And I will, let the board know that Sean and I recently met with Everblue Lakes to discuss an aeration project for the lake. They wanted to pitch a proposal. You have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's nice when you're meeting with a company that, let's face it, they're providing a sales pitch, but they're also giving you their knowledge and experience on lakes doing what we've talked about. Nature is trying to make a lake a forest, right? It's trying to turn it back to solid ground. And we're trying to fight that process. And I think at the end of the day, they thought that our approach, the path we're going down right now, is exactly what we should be doing. And that their approach is maybe after we've resolved some other issues. So it was kind of interesting to go speak with the data that we have, where we are in the process and what we're doing. And it was an affirmation of, I think, where we're headed. And I think we heard loud and clear from the Putt Lake community that the focus, they want the lake to be the focus, improving the lake. And I think that's the focus that we're going to be looking at over the next couple of years. We're coming up with a plan and then effectuating that plan, which is not going to be cheap.
When do you think we would have reports back from both of these organizations?
Well, so it's only really
Just the
one, just the
Oh,
one.
just the one.
And that's due in the fall.
Okay.
And that's going to give us, I think, a baseline data of what's going on in the lake, and then that's going to guide some of our activities. So, thank you, Rich, for including me in it. I'm happy to be involved because I find it
Happy to have
very
you there.
interesting. And again, it's an important issue for our town, so happy to be involved in that.
Okay, Alpine Water District Repair Plan. This goes back to a plan that was done a couple of years ago by our former town engineer. We certainly have some issues with the Alpine Water District we need to address. I'm waiting to see what happens with the county funding. Because that hopefully will give us at least some seed money to do some of the work, if not all of the work out there. In that regards, I have provided the county with everything they've asked for. I've been contacted by the county attorney who is drafting up agreements between all the towns. I've not heard anything further after I gave them the information she requested. So I'm waiting on that. Hopefully we'll be seeing some of those funds soon. The electronic message board signs. Again, we're waiting the county funding before we can really move forward on that. I am working on the licensing agreement based on past discussions with the fire departments about how the signs are getting used. And one of the issues with the electronic message boards was the location of the message board out in front of Patterson Fire Department. The right of way in front of the Patterson Fire Department pushes that sign back 50 to 100 feet from the edge of pavement, and that pushes it way back onto the site.
Yeah.
So
That's the DOT right.
that's the DOT right of way. So what we'd like to do is get that sign much closer, up close where the telephone poles are. And the application to do that has been submitted to the DOT with a lot of supporting documentation. They have indicated that they don't give licensing agreements for that kind of a use. But based on the uniqueness of this situation, I'm confident we're going to move forward. All right, the website upgrade and email issues. I am still working on the RFP using a combination of the RFP that Pete had given me from Greenberg Police and something that I had gotten from Civic Plus, and putting together the RFP. One of the issues, if we are going to go with Civic Plus, is they do not provide any email services. So we need to rethink on what we're going to do if we're going to drop in-motion hosting and what we're going to do for our email service. So I've looked at a couple of different companies, the cheapest of the companies that I could find, which would provide us email and allow us to continue to use the current email addresses, which I think is an important consideration, considering how many employees, are registered with state agencies and use that as their login, trying to keep those email addresses. And the cheapest one I've been able to find so far is going to run the town about $4,400 a year to maintain the email addresses. Now, I got some correspondence from our current webmaster, Peter Revolt, late this afternoon, who says he thinks he can find a way to use Gmail, which I recommended not to use, but he thinks he can find a way to use Gmail and link Gmail into our current email system going through in-motion hosting so that we can keep all our email addresses using a Gmail format. So
I think that's what Mary was talking about a while ago, and I had sent some stuff months ago about that. I think that's what that was.
I apologize, I didn't pick up on that. Yeah, so I've got to have some conversations with him, see if something like that is going to work. All right, moving on to my list. As long as we're updating the board, let's go through it all. Dorset Hollow Water Extension, we had hired WSP. to look at extending the water. I've been in, working with them very closely, trying to move that along, providing them what information we can on plans that we have and the location of utilities, exactly, what we're trying to do. As of last week, I provided them another 15 megs of information, plans and such. So that is moving forward. Hoping it'd move a little quicker, but things being what they are. Jackson Beach Dock, as you all may remember, we received the grant from DASNY to put docks in on Jackson Beach. They're scheduled to go in around September 20th, 21st. I am working with our highway department to hopefully unload the tractor trailer to get them in there and get those docks in. At the same time, so the people who are going to put the docks in, Easy Docks, came up to just take a look at the situation. While they were up, we, had a further conversation about the situation at Warren Beach and the fact that we don't have water really flowing through that. The docks that are out there kind of create two dams and don't allow the flow of water. And so for the Jackson Beach docks, the design has changed somewhat. So we're going to have gaps so that the water midway can flow through and we can get that flow of water. We took them over to Warren Beach and we took a look at those docks as well. And they said that if we give them the okay relatively soon, that, thank you, that they can install the same sort of brakes in the docks over there for $2,500 a dock, so $5,000. And that's the cost for materials. They would do the install for free. We do it now while they're doing Jackson.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So
That was a big problem with the water kind of gets stagnates.
Stagnate, yeah.
It causes an additional problem for the algae blooms.
Yeah. So I did shoot Laura an email. This all came up today. And, even though Laura's on vacation, nobody ever goes on vacation. She was excited about the idea, but concerned that because they want to do it relatively quickly, that, she didn't have a board meeting coming up, but she really wanted to see it done if we could do it. So I'm going to throw it out to the board. What do you think? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'd be
Do it?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, then I'm going to make a motion that we authorize $5,000 for 2 flow-through breaks in the docks at Warren Beach for Easy Docks. So move. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We've got some employee recognitions going on that we're working on. One of them, that's how I talked to Laura and the Park Advisory Board about trying to get something done relatively quickly before everybody left the college. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to push off. We're going to do it right. They're going to pick out exactly what they want because they want more than just a bench. They want, kind of a landscaped area. We currently have $964 to do that. And I'm sure that's going to go up a little bit because I certainly haven't kicked into the kitty yet.
Especially when there's a better concept of what the
Yeah.
plan is. People are very willing.
Yeah.
I think we all would be very anxious to.
Sometimes you don't know how much to give because you don't know what it's going to be used for. 'Cause
Right,
it's either
exactly.
a card, a plaque, or
So I appreciate what Mary said about, the people going back to college and yet they want to be involved in this. So we're going to, and I'm going to talk to Mary about exactly who it was. Maybe she, talk to them and see when they're going to get a break. So we're going to push this off probably to early spring when everybody comes back.
Yeah.
So all the college kids who knew her can participate.
because most of the lifeguards are go away at college.
Yeah.
So
Charlie Lowry, we're having a difficult time finding a bronze plaque, getting somebody to do it. People are not responding to us, by email or phone. Called another company today, found out they're out of business now. So, but we are still working on that plaque for Charlie Lowry based on the language that the board agreed on. And then Rick Saracelli, I want to thank you because when I called up Gail, I finally got the contact information and got a hold of Gail. She says, oh, no, we're already working with Sean on
Yes, so we're all done with that now.
it.
So,
good.
yeah, I can say that Ed Napierkowski sent over the information to a print, I think it's a print shop right here in town for a quote,
Awesome.
for signs that he wanted for the park, but also for the sign for the Saracelli's. And I think what they were thinking of design-wise is the same type design as is used on the Maybrook Trail, the same styling where it's a resilient, it's not like a wooden sign, you know, it's something very weather resilient that would artwork to be provided by the employee. So it's in the process and we're trying to get some prices together. So yeah, I'll update the board as we get more information on it, but Ed is helping out with that.
Rich, what about that same concept for Charlie Lauer? That type of-
Well, the difference in the two is that the signs we're talking about are very heavy. They're informational signs. I think Charlie Lowry is more of a commemorative or
Yeah.
recognition.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why we wanted to do a bronze plaque for him.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm just thinking we're having so much trouble.
Well, we will get it. Just-
Okay, fine.
And I just want everybody to know we are working. Good.
We already actually did get a quote, I'm sorry. So the initial quote for the Saracelli sign was $135, but I'm sure that could change as this develops. And this is from Signs and Printing, Route 22 in Patterson.
Signs.
It's
Signs and Printing.
it's right next to ADP. There's a big sign that says signs.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
But
that's
it's
the,
usually Olson signs, it's not signs.
That's-
So,
yeah.
Okay.
oh, Signs and Printing by Olson. So
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, listen, I'm as bad as you are.
It's a small print that says by Olson.
You know, like a designer, buy.
Yeah.
All right. Next, the environmental park road. So, you know, that park road is getting more and more wear as time goes on, and it needs to be resurfaced periodically. And Rick was always great about reaching out to Peckham and getting Peckham to donate some item 4. I always have a problem with item 4 because it has a lot of white fines in it. If you go, especially to Ice Pond Road, that's
a great example.
Yeah.
Horrible.
you look at that stream is Peckham white.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of item 4 at all. And I was approached by the highway department. They came into possession of a large quantity of recycled asphalt. And for those of you who drive those roads, they actually have done Tommy Thurber Lane and Ice Pond Road now with recycled asphalt. I think they look great. So they asked if there were any other locations where they might be able to use this material. And we started talking about putting it down, going into the environmental park, stopping about halfway through the parking lot, so we stay away from the water's edge, right? And also maybe the wastewater treatment plant. So the plan is hopefully at least next week, we might get the environmental park done in recycled asphalt. It's a much better wear surface. It chinks in better together and it's stronger and it doesn't have the same fines that the other board. So
Based on Ice Pond, it still retains the feel of a gravel surface road with that. It's not packed and smooth like the cabin outside. So
it's not.
still gives you the feel of walking down a country road, so to speak. It's not.
It's kind of like the older
Like the
asphalt they used to use.
Yeah. So that's great also
it's
environmentally to keep those fines. out of
Yeah.
it.
Now, do they have to do any other work? Did they put more item 4 down first before they lay
Nope.
the asphalt? Or they
Nope,
just-
you lay it right on whatever the surface is.
Wow.
Yeah, and I probably should tell you all this. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can dump it out of the truck and spread it out, grade it, and whatever, or you can actually use a paver.
That's what I saw them using on Ice Pond when
Yes.
they were doing it.
You're not laying asphalt.
Right.
There's no tar mixed into it, but it lays it out like it was laying it out on a road. And it lays out nice, smooth, uniform thickness. Does a great job.
They roll it then just to kind of pack it in, which
you
is
have to,
nice
yeah.
also. Yeah.
Yep.
Otherwise it'll
Yep.
disappear.
Yep.
Great.
up in like Carp Gate, we had an issue with the Carp Gate a few years ago and the piping out there, and we need to have a Carp Gate both up on top and on the bottom. And the bottom Carp Gate, the design was such that it actually caused more of a problem than it saved, so we had to tear that out. We knew we had to replace it, but we didn't get around to replacing it. We didn't try to replace it because the county was replacing the culvert out there. Well, the county has finished their work, and so we need to replace that Carp Gate on the bottom. I had a couple of different ideas about how we might approach doing that. I reached out to Highway to bounce some things off of them and see if they had any ideas about it. They came out. We all took some measurements and we talked about, manufacturing a Carp Gate, doing a really nice job. And 2 days later, I got a call from Highway and said, "Did you see it?" They had put it in.
Yeah, that's surprising.
So kudos to our highway department, who goes above and beyond all the time on projects that have nothing to do with the maintenance of our road, but they certainly want to take care of our community any way they can. And that leads me into the military tribute banners. I just want to read this really quick. We got a card if you'd like to look at the card. The card says, "Dear Supervisor Williams and Town Patterson Highway Department and all involved, thank you for your great support of the banner project and in displaying them with pride. Your efforts are gratefully appreciated. As always, thanks for your support. Best, members of the Joseph J. Morrissey VFW and Auxiliary 9257 and Robert Gracia Ambets 2017. So,
Very nice, very nice.
it's very nice. And I hope you've all had a chance to drive around and take a look at the banners that the highway department has been putting up. I've been out there with them.
They look great. Yeah.
So
Had a lot of
they're doing
positive
great.
feedback from people about that. What a great,
Yep, and we're getting now more calls for people who want to put them up. We've got a couple of glitches that we've overcome. It gets a little interesting out there sometimes, but overall, I think they look great. They really add to the town. So, 2362 Route 22. I don't know if any of you have been down 22 by 164. There was a foreclosure on one of the properties out there and an eviction. We have been totally unable to locate the former property owner who used to sell vegetables down there. Very nice individual. And we are having great difficulty getting a hold of the management company and the bank who did that. But the problem is, so it was an eviction. So they hired somebody to go in there.
Took everything out,
Did you
threw it on
drive
the
by it?
street. I saw it the other day and I was like, someone was evicted. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's
They
terrible.
packed everything up in boxes and they took all the furniture and they started at the driveway entrance where it hits 22, both sides of the driveway, running down the driveway about 100 feet or so, and just dumped it there and
Yeah.
left it. And so people are driving by, they're seeing all these boxes,
Yeah.
why not just stop in and pick through the boxes? And so now the boxes are open, everything's a
Scavengers.
mess, things are blowing around.
Well, interestingly enough, my wife shared with me some kind of social media post where someone had collected some of the personal effects to preserve them for the owner.
Yeah.
Essentially saying, "Hey, I've got like photo things that you really can't replace."
Yeah.
Nobody cares about a toaster, but
Right.
Yeah, they were trying to locate the owner.
yeah, but a bad situation. You
Awful
never know. I mean,
situation.
obviously, it's a bad situation leading to an eviction, but
Yeah,
it's guttural when you see people's belongings just thrown out like trash. And,
yeah,
it creates a problem for the town. But it's horrible for the individual.
yeah.
So I want everybody here to know, and everybody that's viewing, that, we are aware of the situation. We do not condone it. It is an awful situation. And we are doing whatever we can to try to rectify it, and both finding the former property owner, so we can lend what assistance we can. And also to get a hold of the management company so we can get them to clean things up.
You said the former property. You mean the former tenant?
So it was an individual who lived there with his family, mother was, I guess, the last surviving heir who died. All right. So, and there's been a foreclosure by a bank. So I don't think he was a tenant, but I don't know why he didn't inherit it, or if he didn't inherit it, he couldn't pay off the mortgage, or what all the circumstances are.
All the years driving up and down that road, knowing the vegetable stand was there, I never knew there was a house behind you. The driveway, I never saw the
Yeah.
driveway. Until all the boxes were thrown up.
And if you want any assistance from our office in trying to locate the bank or the management company, just let me know.
Okay,
We'll look
I
into
will
it.
appreciate that. All right. I've had a couple of conversations lately with Verizon. They are starting to extend fiber optic through the town of Patterson. They are actually, I think, going to start working on Shaw Valley Lane and coming up through there fairly soon. They are extending their fiber optic network throughout the town of Patterson. So that's the good news. And they will be offering telephone and internet service through the fiber optic. What they're trying to do is they're going to abandon their copper network completely. But having said that, you know, and I've pressed them, they at this point are not seeking to start up discussions with any municipality in the near future on a franchise agreement. So they will not be turning on FiOS with TV in Patterson anytime soon.
Anybody still have cable? You don't stream?
Should, but we don't.
Actually, it's gonna be great streaming with the fiber optics.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt. But yeah, I'm with Sean. I still have cable and do a lot of streaming. But speaking of franchise agreements, I've started discussions with Comcast. We are coming up in a year or so about their franchise agreement. So I've got a pre-discussion meeting scheduled for September, just to talk about the steps that we're going to need to take for the updating the Comcast franchise agreement. Mike Griffin, when he was supervisor, signed a 10-year with renewable options in it. And I can't believe it's been so long that it's actually coming up to an expiration. So,
Can you just explain that a little bit for people? Because I think people have a misconception about that. They think that we can only contract with them and nobody else, and because we're making all this money off it. And, you know,
so
Which is not the
there's no doubt that with the franchise agreement with Comcast, the town does profit from it, but we profit minimally from it. The franchise agreement is just as much about trying to ensure that we get service everywhere. And one of the things that prompted this, just so everybody knows, is we had somebody who built a new house up on Stagecoach Road who works from home and was relying on the fact that they had, you know, internet service on Stagecoach Road. Well, Comcast doesn't go up on Stagecoach Road. So she's got this new house, the CO she's living in, and she can't move home. But so the town goes into a franchise agreement because it's a requirement of the Public Service Commission for any utility who is looking to provide cable television service within our community. And so if Verizon decides that they want to come in and offer FiOS with, you know, that is television capable, they would need to enter into a franchise agreement with the town. I've assured them that we are just looking for them to provide the service, that we're not going to be difficult in any demands or requests, as long as, you know, they're providing comprehensive service to our, you know, community. You know, and it's all about getting the infrastructure extended more than it is the town making any sort of, you know, fast revenue on this.
If you let me know when you have that Comcast meeting, I'll try to join you.
Okay, great. Good enough.
yes, thank you.
All right, new ambulance, everybody's aware, we purchased a new ambulance. Things are moving along with that. It is currently getting all its decals. Some not so pleasant news. Marble Quarry Lane, So we have a lot of people using Marble Quarry Lane to access the environmental park. And for me, it's always been a very important safety issue, the fact that we have an unguarded crossing down there. And, one of the first things I did when I came in was started to try to find a way to get better safety features installed down there. And a couple of years ago, we convinced DOT and Metro North and the town to all work together to declare that road a public road. And that would allow funding to flow through Metro North to make improvements, to put up a guarded crossing there, so that when, people are crossing down there, if there's a train coming, there's going to be some sort of gate so they can't go through. And we did everything we were supposed to do, and the town did everything we were supposed to do, but the order of the judge who declared it a public road said that the improvements needed to be done in a couple of years. COVID came along.
What's that?
And COVID came along. And so Metro North, who had the funding, had the grant to make the improvements, never made the improvements. And the order was that you had to make the improvements by such and such a date, or you lost the designation, which we did. Metro North is currently working, trying to find out how we can extend it or whether we have to start. So, but not letting this one go. We've done it once, we will do it again. But it's unfortunate because they had the funding to make the improvements, is the timing. And I talked a little bit about county ARPA, where we are with that. And last thing on my list was it's budget time, town board's budget tonight. I anticipate is going to be, for at least Trish and I, a very difficult time. Trish is kind of backed up, as you see, she is still here tonight. We're behind in a number of different things because of things that have happened this year. So I am certainly pitching in more and trying to get that budget done.
In terms of planning our special meetings, remember we had talked about making sure there were as many of us present, because I know I haven't been told in the past.
We talk about budget meetings.
The budget meetings. The only thing I have in September is a couple of days that I'm at a conference for work, the 19th through the 21st, I believe, Monday through Wednesday. That's the only thing that I have that would prevent me from September. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, because I know what you normally.
Yeah, no, I'm
Do,
not
so-
going this year, but
That's a shame.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, yeah, if you would all
Email that too.
please look at the calendar, because we have set the schedule, I believe, for the budget meetings. And if there's any conflicts, we need to shift things around, please let us know. Because it's important that you're all part of this. Okay? All right, and that is it for project update. Any questions?
Thank you for that.
See you in
Welcome. Thank
September.
Yeah, I do have a whole other list, by the way, when we get to the end, unfortunately. Fun times. Okay, Charlie, you said you wanted to do Mary's agenda.
I will. Our agenda consists of recreation requests. And the first one that I have is relates to a upgrading of a supervising lifeguard, which Matt Chabarro would like us to approve with the lifeguards going back to school. So basically our staff is college students. We would like us to approve naming Averill Downey as a head guard at the rate of $15 an hour while serving as a head guard. And I think that we need to do that. So I will make a motion that the town board approve Matt's request to pay Averill Downey $15 per hour when serving as a head guard. So moved.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, I have the no bid procurement request form for soccer goal and transportation of these goals. And Matt got 3 quotes. And the low quote was from Anthem Sports. And I'll make a motion that the town board approve this to approving Anthem Sports bid. I'm going to say in an amount not to exceed $1,200. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have a new program idea from Matt and the team. And they like to offer ultimate Frisbee program for children in grades 7 to 12. We'll run practices, pickup games, informal scrimmages twice a week, focusing on skill development, fun, and social opportunities. Registration fee will be set at $90 per person. We will also provide a disc to each participant for an additional $10 fee. Once the participant owns his or own disc, they will not need to purchase another one for the next session. The game will be played outdoors or indoors, but the plan is to play at the Cornwall Hill ball field. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve this new program idea, which will start in the fall. So,
Second.
All in favor?
aye. Next, we have another memo from Matt with regard to fall program prices. And he would like our approval on prices for Little Chefs at $105 per child, $95 per sibling. Nerf Night, $12 per child, $3 for a pair of safety goggles. Pizza Night, $13 standard admission. Get a slice, a drink, and 3 hours of fun. We're going to upgrade to $16 for an extra slice, admission, etc., and $3 for any additional slices after that. We have flag football, $110 per child, $100 per sibling. And we have tag sale that they'll do in the fall, $30 per space. And then there's the holiday, followed by the holiday bazaar and craft fair, again at $30 per space. I'll make a motion that the town board approve these fall program prices as I just outlined. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's it.
That's it, right?
Yes.
Peter?
First I have is a letter of resignation from our EMS. This is a letter from Michaela Fowler, who is, please accept this as my letter of resignation from the town of Patterson EMS. My last day will be July 29th, so she has resigned already. And she says, she goes on to tell that she will return all her uniforms and equipment. So I assume she's already done that. So thank you, Michaela Fowler, for your service to the town. She's been an EMT for a few years with us. Great EMT. She picked up a lot of slack. I know when we were short, she did a lot of hours. So moving on to bigger and better things, which happens to a lot of our EMTs. So it's a double-edged sword. You know, it's a little bittersweet. You know, it's like, but it's tough that we're losing her. But I'm glad that she's probably moving on to some better things. So I'd like to make a motion to accept this letter of resignation from Michaela Fowler. So
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next, I have a letter of retirement. So with a heavy heart, I'll read this. Dear Matt Shabaro and Rich Williams, I would like to respectfully submit my notice of retirement effective August 31st, 2022. It's been my pleasure working for the Recreation Center for the past 18 years. So this is from Pat, Patricia, Mar. So I'd like to make a motion reluctantly to accept this letter of retirement from Pat Marr. And Pat, thank you so much for your service to the town, to the rec center. So moved.
Second.
All
I
in
just
favor?
have a comment. I think Pat deserves a certificate or a plaque or something. 18 years of service to
All
the
right,
town.
so why don't you and I talk about that? Yes, I've known Pat a long time and wonderful individual. She's been great down at the rec center. This is actually her second retirement.
Yeah.
She retired from JFK, John F. Kennedy down in Somers.
Yeah.
She was in their phys ed department.
Yeah, she was a gym teacher for many years, and the more you get to know her, the more interesting,
Yes.
people that just sitting behind the desk at the rec center, you sit and talk with them, and amazing the life.
Good
that
person.
she
Yeah.
led.
Charles.
Oh, Pete, you okay?
Yes, thank you.
Next, we have a resolution authorizing for submission to the comptroller of the state of New York for the Hamlet Sanitary Sewer District extension. And I'm just going to read this quickly. Whereas the town board of the town of Patterson wishes to make application to the office of the state comptroller, now therefore be it resolved that the attached application was prepared at the direction of the town board, and be further resolved that the town board of town of Patterson finds the contents of the application to be accurate and will not constitute an undue burden on the property which will bear the cost. Be therefore resolved that all the real property be assessed for the cost of the proposed improvements will be benefited by the proposed improvements, and no benefited property has been excluded. Be further resolved that so long as a petition is not received for permissive referendum on extension number 4, town supervisor is authorized and directed to apply for approval of the extension to the New York State Comptroller on or after August 27th to 2022. I'll make a motion that the town board approve this resolution. Better than I read it, and enter it into the record. So,
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Okay, I do have a few other things that I need to talk to the board about. One, I believe you all have to notice, we received a $50 donation from a Carol Simpson for our EMS service. And we need to accept that, so I'll make a motion to accept a donation to the EMS department in the amount of $50. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Very generous.
All right. Second thing I want to talk to the board about. Just bear with me for a second. Our court officers. Let's do that. If you all remember, we hired new court officers. And we are using a firm, if you turn it over, Scott Cronin's outfit. So one of the things we have not been doing in the resolutions when we're doing the hire is to actually set the minimum of 4 hours for compensation. And so Trish is questioning whether she can actually pay that. So I'd like to make a motion that for court security, that we do a 4-hour minimum guarantee of hours for court officers during court night. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, I have our Energy Cooperative of America that actually provides our electric service. It's an ESCO that provides our electric service. And we've received notice that they are terminating our contract. It was a contract, it was a bid that the county put out. We piggybacked on top of the county. So based on the rise in rates, they're terminating our contract. They've given us 30 days notice. So we're gonna, I've talked to Trish about this. And at least for the moment, we're gonna let it fall back to NICEAG. NICEAG will be providing our electric service, and then in a couple of months, we're probably gonna put it out to bid. Put it out to bid on our own. Is everybody comfortable with doing that?
Yeah, so that affects everybody who piggybacks with the county.
It certainly affects the county, and yes, all the towns that piggyback on top of it. We
No.
canceled everybody's contract.
got to do it.
Well, I mean, we could try to scramble and put a bid out on our own right now. We're not sure what the county's doing at this point.
We don't have enough room to add it to the list of projects.
Well, being as we're coming into budget time and, you know, with all the craziness going on.
Yeah, no. Nice. That's it.
All right.
We just fall back to NICEAG now, and then we can always decide something else
Yeah.
later on.
Yeah, we're not locked into this.
Yeah.
Going forward.
Yeah, and if the county goes out to bid again, you could always piggyback again.
Yep.
You know, because they're gonna be in the same position.
All right, and the last thing I want to, mention to everybody, this went out, the email to everybody. We ran into a situation. So, everybody is aware. The town building department got notified by the Putnam County Health Department that Sacred Heart Church was running a day camp out there. The health department took what action they felt was appropriate, restricted the use, but didn't stop it. Unfortunately, day camp is a use that's defined within the day care is defined within our code, which we are considering this. A day camp specifically is not, but it requires a special use permit, site plan approval, of course, to make sure that all the facilities are there and available to the individuals using it. It was also unfortunate that the Catholic Archdiocese didn't reach out to the town and let us know that they were planning on doing this. So we had very little information to go on, at least initially. Staff actually did a search and found this flyer that I provided to you, which suggests that they're going to have some 200 kids at the facility. In fact, they've only been having about 50 to 60 kids, but that's still a sizable number. But there's no formal outdoor play area. There's no safety areas, no safety surface, no equipment. So our code enforcement, getting notified of this from the health department, immediately notified them that they were in violation of our code, told them that they needed to stop the camp. And that they needed to apply for site plan approval and for a special use permit. Of course, that didn't go over well with anybody. And certainly got a number of phone calls, but people need to follow the code. We have the code in place and we try to reasonably administer it, but it's there to protect everybody's safety, not only, the safety of the people using it, but the town residents and everybody else. And God forbid they brought somebody up who, did something they weren't supposed to, got hurt, or, because there's no security, there's no fences up at the facility, somebody disappears into the woods. We've got to now go hunt for a lost child. So, and there was only a week left of camp anyway. So, but I want to make you all aware because there's been a tremendous amount of back and forth on this with some individuals. Any questions? All right, and that is,
I applaud you for doing what's necessary to protect these children, because it sounds easy enough to say, just let them do what they want to do, but that's not what this is about. It's all great until someone gets hurt, and then we're the people that should have known better.
that's right.
So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of my big fears always is that we have a deck somewhere in this town that, we put 50 people on it and it falls off the back of their house, as we've seen in other communities. And I think right now we've got a great, building inspector who is, he's very in tune with making sure that those things are not going to happen.
I can imagine, with our own camp, and I know Camp Ehrlich, I've done some stuff with them. They need special trainings. They need people that are on duty that have advanced first aid, and people that CPR and stuff like that.
So it's not a no, it's a no for now. They have a process that's been laid out to them that they can follow, and they could potentially do this in the future.
Sure. I was very specific, we could very easily take the tack that this is a day camp and we do not have that in our code, so they cannot do it, period. Or we can consider it day care, which we do have in our code, and they just need to make sure the facilities are there. Sure. Safe.
If it's a daycare, would they have to also follow SFD or something? What was that? The state
I guess it falls back to, depends on if the state regulates them as a daycare all year long, then they operate under that, but
Uh-huh.
typically it doesn't cover
Temporary.
the summertime portion. You know. But there are some, look at the next door, I'm pointing the wrong way. The facility that is an all year long daycare, they operate a camp program, but it still falls under their licensure for the all year long state program. So
Yeah.
it's not regulated by local health. So it's really just a matter of somebody capturing it. Again, it goes back to safety. And not with
Sure.
who's got the jurisdiction, but with that, their safety is paramount.
Well, that is it for me. Does any board member have any other business they wish to discuss at this time?
So we have the issue that I know Sue had asked for a resolution on. It was every 3 years, the board decides on the town's policy for the safe driver safety program. And this was discussed at the safety committee meeting a few weeks ago, and specifically, I'm sorry that Councilwoman Smith is not here because we were talking about just the board being aware of what this costs the taxpayers, because it's not a mandatory program. Unlike where I work in Putnam County, if you're a driver of county vehicles, you are required to take this. It's required to be allowed to. So Sue had looked into it with our insurance carrier. We were asking whether or not we get a incentive for the program. And ultimately, we had asked Sue and then indirectly the office comptroller to put together just some idea of what the impact is. Yeah, you have it right there.
All I can do is turn it over.
Yeah, and it essentially, what Patricia Brooks and her office put together was a breakdown of the full-time and part-time employees. This would be an assumption that everyone took the class if it were offered, and that's not the case. The historical review looks like we get somewhere around the neighborhood of 40 employees. That's out of a total of 125, 130 employees. That includes the boards and the part-timers. So, you know, the discussion at the safety committee was that I feel a heck of a lot better as a town board member if I know that the folks who drive our town vehicles, our highway department, sanitation department, building department, if they take the training. Now, we haven't historically made it mandatory, but I think it should be recommended that they take the class. The question comes up about our employees who don't drive a vehicle as part of their job, someone that's at a desk job or a part-timer at the rec department or something, and whether or not we should offer the class to that person. The idea being, would we either one of two options, pay for the class and or pay for their time to take the class? And I've heard discussion in years past where our full-timers, it's kind of could be considered a perk of full-time status here in the town, that we offer that to them, that it's a savings for themselves. We're keeping safe employees. We're providing a great service. For the part-timers, I think historically we had not paid them. They did it on their own time if they wanted to do it. But so it's kind of the background, and open for discussion to what everybody would like to see either continued or the new practice.
So we did look at this the last time that we did youth driver training with regards to our insurance company, and there is no benefit to the town to do this, other than the fact that we might have safe drivers out there.
Well, I'm sorry, to that point though, yeah, the statistics do show that people that take the course do have less crashes.
Right.
Safer driving.
I'm not disputing that.
Yeah.
But the real benefit is to the individual because they get a break on their insurance. And, I mean, we're in tough financial times. It seems we're always in tough financial times, but, as Trish, shows you that, it costs somewhere around $20,000 in staff time, for the town to do this if everybody was going to do it. And that does not include the, cost that the town's going to pick up the $20, right?
What does it cost us in the past though? Because
That's a good question.
it said that, how many people took it, but it shows the cost of if everyone took it. But what was the cost in the past?
Well, we haven't tracked that, so we don't know. But if we're gonna throw it out,
assumptions.
yeah, we have to assume that everybody is gonna want to take it. You know, and if everybody doesn't take it, well, that's fine. And in the past, we've also opened it up to spouses of employees, that they would have to pay for themselves to come.
Right.
Right.
So,
Where did $20 come from? What is that?
well, it's $20 or $25 for the instructor per person.
That's just the actual cost of the course. So, and while the other amounts are just essentially, it's not an additional cost, but it's a cost of people's staff time.
So I will throw this at my opinion. So I would be willing to pay to reimburse anybody who takes the course, to encourage them to take the course. You know, give them all the information on how to take the course online. But, you know, I'd rather not have everybody sitting in a classroom and having to, you know, close down work. I'm involved in doing this.
So you would only offer it online?
So why not do it a classroom? Class?
Well, again, because, you know,
And why not do it, okay, we'll do a Saturday or 2 evenings. We'll give the space, maybe at the rec center or wherever, and
Because the money, if the money's the money, it's.
okay, so I'll tell you what, I'll go so far as if the employees want to show up and do it in the classroom, you know, on their time. That's
did you ever
fine.
take it online?
No, I've never taken it.
So
outside.
I was gonna say,
I was getting ready to do it,
Horrible.
actually.
It's actually more expensive online too. Yeah.
Is it?
I would just offer it to the employees. Now, you can say, well, I guess all these numbers really, there's lack of productivity or something. I mean, we take it away.
Well, it's the hours that are not worked.
Okay, so the hours are not working. It's the same thing if we had a snow day. We pay the people, they don't come in. So, I mean, I would offer this to the employees and I think it's a good thing to do.
I definitely think that any training like this should be in person, only because I've done both, and the online was the most painful experience. 8 hours that you can't, it's horrible. It isn't worth, I honestly didn't think it was worth the savings on my insurance, truthfully, but it's 8 hours of time that I had to sit in front of the computer and listen to these horrible videos and stuff. But the online or the in-person ones, I actually like. I think they're interactive and fun. Go ahead, you're dying to.
Oh, yeah, listen,
Yeah.
I'm sitting here doing the employee training right now that we all have to
Yes,
do
there you go.
online, and I'm just enjoying the heck out of it.
That's true. But that is mandated.
It
That's
is
different,
mandated,
so.
yeah.
But
That should be where an instructor comes in, like that happened a few years back. And everybody goes to that session and everything is covered instead of this painful experience of doing it online.
I would,
But getting back to this, I really think that we offer to the employees. And
so I
We all
absolutely
have to
agree.
agree.
Well, I absolutely agree with the in-person training, and my position still is that anyone that drives a town vehicle, I actually think should be mandated to take it, and I don't mind paying the salary.
What if they don't?
Well, so in the case of, if it's part of your job, you're a highway worker, you drive a truck, one of our vehicles, and you don't take it, you take it.
Listen, so,
Yeah,
listen. It's not part of the contract,
right.
so we can strongly encourage. I just don't want to put us in a
So let's change the
situation.
contract, so if they don't take it, and they get in an accident.
Well, that's.
Then they-
But if we,
negotiate the
but if we
contract.
give them that benefit, and give them the time to come and sit and take it,
Yeah.
that's encouraging them to take it.
Yeah.
They all do anyway.
That's a separate issue.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I just don't want us to, say that we're
Yeah.
mandated.
Right.
Because I don't want to have to go back to the union and say,
Oh, yeah.
geez, if he didn't take it, he's fired.
Yeah, so, but again, the whole point being, I think it's strongly encouraged that anybody driving let me rephrase it. I'd be willing to pay the time and the course for anybody who drives a town vehicle. Maybe that's a better way of saying it, of absorbing the cost. For the others, I'm be open to hearing what.
So what about? so
I
now
would
EMS
just,
So I feel like
Offer it
EMTs should
straight
drive an
across.
ambulance, so they should be.
any employee who wants to take it.
Like you were Charlie.
which-
I agree with Charlie. any employee who wants to take it, because
So a part-time.
like I said, we should look back how many employees have,
Yeah.
how many employees for the last 10, 12 years have taken advantage of.
The problem with the breakdown,
Each
as you, I think you mentioned, is it mentions the total number of employees, but it didn't say whether those employees were full-time or part-time for who took it.
Or
So
board members.
for any, well, so that's what I was gonna say. If you have somebody like you or I, a board member or a rep, somebody, I'm just picking,
Advisory board members.
if they want to take it, I'm happy to provide the class, but I'm not gonna pay a part-timer there. I don't know that we should be reimbursing them there if it has nothing to do with their job.
Okay, so a board member this is not going to count as a meeting for a board
Correct.
member.
Nor a rec, somebody that's a part-timer at the rec center who might be or a lifeguard who might say, yeah, I'm happy to take the class, but now I want 6 hours of pay. I don't think that's appropriate.
But we do have lifeguards that drive for us.
That's different. So they
Okay.
drive, they drive as part of their job, checking on the beaches and, so sounds like we created a convoluted, but let's try to simplify it.
Okay, so I think for the moment, what the board should do is just authorize Sue Brown to arrange the class. And then when she finds an instructor and comes back with a price, then you can authorize that. Sure. Do that by motion.
So,
But for who though?
well, we're gonna, first, let's get the class scheduled. Let's first get the idea that we're offering class and then it's a two-parter.
Because you can't authorize the money. You've got to authorize the money. Right? And you can't authorize the money because you don't know how much it is.
But could we make a policy of who's eligible to take it?
You can if you want to do that right now, but I was listening and I was going to go back and listen to the tape and then draft it up so that it was not quite as convoluted. So you had something.
I
that
think
you-
that's what they were looking for, the
Yeah,
safety committee.
I think. So Sue, the impetus to this was because the time frame. It's August, right? When they start coming due, because everybody did it at the same time. So the policy that I think I was suggesting was that all full-timers that drive a vehicle as part of their job be offered to take the class and be reimbursed and be able to take it on town time. And for others, we would pay for the class, but they have to use their own time. And then for the part-timers, see, EMTs are different though, because they have to drive. So anybody that drives the vehicle is part of their job, especially a town vehicle like that. Because you have other people like code compliance officer who drives routinely as part of his job. He's driving a personal vehicle. But to me, that's the same thing. He's driving as part of his job.
Anybody that drives full-time, part-time.
Yeah. You drive them one day because you might decide to go pick something up at I think Trish used herself. She might go to the bank once in a blue moon. That's a little different. It's not.
Okay, but we do have 3 or 4 people that do
Yeah.
drive to the bank periodically.
Yeah, I think that's a little. it's not
And they-
intent.
Okay, so anybody who drives, we give them the time and we pay for the instructor. Is an employee full or part-time who wants to take this and they don't drive for the town?
We pay for the class, they take their time.
No, it should be reversed. We,
They pay the $20 and we pay them 6 hours time.
no, they, on their own time
Right.
and pay.
That's what,
Oh, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
what he said. Yep. Because I think, like you said, it's not what the insurance company doesn't give us, it's what the benefit to the town is, that we're not having people getting in accidents that are doing town business. And I think that's a savings, and difficult to enumerate, but it's a savings, an inherent savings.
You know, on second thought, if somebody who's a part-time person wants to take it, we can pay them. It's 6-hour course, but they pay for the instructor.
I see it the opposite. I just see it exactly the opposite. Pay for the class and don't pay for the time. Because you're gonna have the instructor there anyway, so whether it's, correct me if I'm wrong, whether it's 10 people or 30 people, you're paying per person, say $20, whatever it is. That's a very minor.
So pay for the instructor, but not pay for the time. All right.
Because they wouldn't be working that day anyway. So let's say we do it on a Thursday, they wouldn't be, most likely they wouldn't be scheduled to be working, so you're calling them in to take a class that's
Right.
not needed, it's not required.
I did inquire of our county policy because like I said, I take the class as part of my job, required to do so. And they have changed it a number of years ago where if you're required, again, if you operate a county vehicle, you have to do it. And if you don't, they don't offer it. You can go and pay and do it on your own time, but they're not offering it to you. You know, it's not. You want to go pay the fee and go on your own time, you can. You can take the day off or do it in weekends or whatever.
There's a lot of towns that offer to all their employees and
Yeah.
pay them.
Yeah.
To most towns do.
So where are we at? That was what I think.
So anyone that drives a vehicle for the town would, we pay for
compensation.
full comp for we'd give them 6 hours plus the cost of the course. A part-timer, we would pay for the course, they would have to come in there.
Succinctly said, perfect.
Any other employee that doesn't drive a vehicle, we can offer a date or dates where they can, you know, for them to come and offer the facility, but they would have to, they're on their own.
Again, I would still be okay with paying for the course for any employee. Because they're, you know, just a matter of.
It'd be a Saturday or two weeknights.
Paying the time, paying for the course.
Just the course. Yeah.
For anybody who's not required to drive.
And they can bring their spouses with them on the Saturday or weeknights.
And then they can pay the additional fee for the spouse.
The spouses would have to pay.
Spouse pays for the course, and obviously.
Kids.
Those courses, is there a point where it gets too big for an instructor? Or, I mean, if you have 40, 50 people.
The
it's
state
probably
says you can have up to 40 people per class.
not- that's pretty
So
good.
my point with kind of knowing about, so if you put it out to an instructor, if you can say, yeah, we're gonna have 10 people because we're just sending the building department guys and whatever, as opposed to what we just proposed, the price could be a lot more cheaper.
Yeah.
And it could be offered multiple times. It could be multiple days. It could be, you know, a couple of weeknights to make it more convenient. Saturday.
Yeah. But yeah, the online. it's painful.
Like I said, it's actually more expensive, of course.
The online course, I think, might make you more aggressive as a driver. 'cause it's not-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Road rage.
It actually costs more than an in-person instructor.
Yes.
It's what, $40, $50?
I think it's like $37. It depends where you go. But so the instructors don't, it's because they have to have the online maintenance fees and everything through a training center. So it's not, the instructor doesn't set their own price. So they have, so whatever, so even if they don't make any money on it and just set it to a price, it's, I think like minimums are like $37, 40s. Whereas the in-person instructor can set their price a little bit better. So, you know, they don't be overhead of the online fees.
Clear?
There's also virtual.
That was the motion. I'll second Councilman D'Andra's
You could also
motion.
offer classes virtually.
Yeah.
Like a Zoom,
That's true.
which isn't as bad as the
Yeah.
online, but it's, I don't know. Talking about your Zoom meetings recently.
Some of them could be very interesting.
Also, I second.
So that was your
When
motion?
you succinctly said it, I'll make the motion or whatever, but it was put together very nicely.
Yes, I'll make the motion. So moved.
All right, John seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
I think you got one no. You got one no.
Oh, okay.
So, any other business?
I wanted to mention that, never know who from the public might be watching either now or at a later date. If anyone knows of any Eagle Scout type, Boy Scout type, you know, people looking for projects,
we are going to be getting back on the next phase of the boardwalk project. I'm gonna say maybe mid-late September through October, November, and getting the next phase underway. Lumber prices are coming down. And it would, even though it
Not
may
quick
not,
enough.
yeah, not quick enough, but even though it may not meet the full criteria for an Eagle Scout project like there, but I think it might be a great project to get some young people involved in helping out. So,
You good with the budget, the money?
so we have some money that we have left in there, and also we had that money from, I think, the chamber, was it that we?
Well, we have
potentially-
6,000 that I was hoping to use for some signs, but we never seem to get signs.
And the answer is, I don't know, because like you said, lumber prices are so crazy, which is why we were kind of, part of the reason, in fairness, why we've been kind of holding off, but I understand those numbers are coming down, so we're gonna price out, we'll see. So the answer is, I don't know, we might put a little bit in, either from the park budget or put a little into the next year's budget.
Is it gonna
Well,
run more than 70,000?
no, I don't think so, but I don't know.
Okay, all right, we'll see. All right,
So,
very good.
and I did make, when I was at the Country Fest, the old 4-H fair, I did give my card and talk with a few of the scoutmasters to kind of put the feelers out there. To, just to kind of see if we can get, I think let's face it, that's the part of this project that's so nice, is being able to involve volunteers who just want to help out. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that project reinvigorated and moving forward.
Just the thing with an Eagle Scout project, part of the project is to come up with a project, design it, organize it, raise money for it.
Yeah.
So if
So,
we
you know, part of this project, Ed Makrakowski sent me a picture of a bench design that might possibly work for the like for the project, where it might be a component that they can help with design and it have their own ownership to it. So I think there's some possibility here where we could work on it. So
I'll put it on social media.
oh, thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, since nobody is here tonight in town hall with us, we will open it up to anybody joining us by Zoom.
Don't have anybody on Zoom at this time.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Motion to adjourn.
It's Val and Laura Russo, who we actually asked to unmute, they have muted.
Well, yeah, but they sit on mute until we get to this point, and then we ask them to unmute if they have any questions or comments.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ask them to unmute once again. Not getting a response.
Going once, going
All right,
twice, going
motion to adjourn.
So
Second.
All in favor? Thank you all for coming.